Thank you for joining. Tonight we'll be looking at strategy building blocks. This is our second session, and we'll also be looking at what is the next topics to cover in the next session, which is the third session. Part of introduction, I thought I must just put this diagram that surely explains very well as to how you work around your strategy objectives. The input for them is your vision as well as your mission statement for the organization and what values do you stand for. How to work around doing your analysis, situational analysis of organization. You can use pastel, you can use SWOT analysis as well. After doing all of that, you come up with a plan that you actually do your plans, which is called strategy formulation. You look at your plans, your KPIs per department, turnover, your percentage of customers that you want to get, profitability, and so on. And then you gather your resources. That is either if you need to get more funds, you actually apply for loans with the banks or employ more people if you need them or move buildings as well as expansion and so on. The next step is implementation. In implementing the times, you may need to retrain employees, allocate more resources if you need to. And the last part, it talks about strategy evaluation, where you do the evaluation. Normally, you do it every quarter, and then maybe halfway through the year, you can make some adjustments. And once you have done that, you can conduct implementation and review your plans and go forward from that. The organization do this quite well in that way. The key we'll be talking about today talks about the elements of strategy, which talks about the aspirations of organizations, why we're in business, and look at areas of what do we need to achieve, how we're going to achieve it, and what actions do we need to take. We'll be guided by the diagram on the left, which talks vision, mission, objectives, strategy, approach, and tactics of implementing the strategy. To start, I thought I must share the vision and the mission statement for two organizations, which I'm sure you are well aware of them, Coca-Cola as well as Nike. I'm sure you're aware that Nike specifically, they will sponsor the top players, the top teams in any sporting code because that's what they stand for. And when you think soft drinks, I'm sure you think Coca-Cola as well. So in the vision statement, what you get is where organizations define their broad culture, what they stand for. I just mentioned the one for Coke and the one for Nike as well. And then it also steers the critical decisions. At times you are number two in the market and you aspire to be number one a leader. So what it means is that you must take over number one. So it also reveals what you plan to achieve in the short term, medium term, and long term as well. And in the process, you attract employees and because they are engaged as part of the vision as well. Secondly, we look at the mission statement, which literally guides the actions the employees must take to get to the vision. And also this will help to provide context and reduce friction within the organization and give a framework and the direction as to say, look, we've got this vision that we have, and this is how we're going to do it. And in the mission statement, you should know what the organization is doing. So you can see on the left and right, and you can see the one for PowerPoint. The one part that we're going to talk about as well as part of the objectives as well as strategy, we'll talk about the balance scorecard. Organizations outline their objectives using the balance scorecard. In that, we have got your finance objectives, which look at the revenue targets for the year, the return of investment, profitability, and the percentage of growth. The second one that you look at is clients, which are the core for the business. Because as a business, you serve either customers with a service or a product, so they must be satisfied with it. And also importantly, get them to be loyal so they can come back for the service. Internally, you look at your issues around your productivity. How do you get your organization to be more productive and efficient? And the response time that they have as well. So if you are known in the market that if you want something like of the service, go to that company. Lastly, you look at improvement and innovation. Organizations need to constantly improve. Otherwise, they will die. So how you do it is to be creative and work with the trends as well as the time that you're in. So part of the objectives, you look at your planning, you look at your strengths and weaknesses, you look at your skills and knowledge within the organization, and then ensure that we allocate the necessary resources. Importantly, is scanning the environment. There's nothing worse than working in an environment that you're not aware of. That's a follower. In terms of approaches, you have about 5 approaches we'll talk about. The idea behind having these approaches is for you to be proactive rather than reactive, and also be an organization that has got staff that is well satisfied with what they do, and then you can retain them. And these are the approaches that are available. The first one is the classical approach, where you get a direction that you need to go to, and then you plan, and then you go to implement. The second one talks about it's the adaptive one, where you can say, look, I'm adopting a plan or strategy from organization X, but I'm going to fit it with my current organization. The third one talks to visionary, where you've got either a direction to say, look, as market leaders, we're taking the direction to EV as an example, and then you can move along, learn, and then implement accordingly. The other one talks collaboration. Collaboration, you can do it through collaborating with your suppliers, your employees as well. Maybe they've got newer ways of doing things. Maybe it's a smaller battery that is more efficient than you use for industry. And the last one you talk about, that's approach that you talk about is the regeneration one, where you literally look at areas around, you say, look, I've been doing service this way. Maybe I need to refine it and be efficient. For tactics, there is a difference. You can see on the diagram on the left what is strategy and tactics. Strategy talks about the planning, and tactics talks about the doing. What are the 5 tactics that are available in the market? The first is alignment with strategy. You must always ensure that your objectives and your KPIs align to strategy, and your targets must be SMART, which is specific, measurable, and all. And also you must have resource efficiency that ensures profitability, that ensures that you have got value for money for your business. Fourth one that you look at is your adaptability and flexibility. At times, you have to refine your strategy, move a little to the left and more to the right somewhere. So you must be able to adapt to the environment. Creativity is also quite important, as well as innovation in the organization, because if you are not, you'll be behind and you'll be consistency. That's also another important tactic, and be able to repeat what you're doing. There's nothing worse than getting the restaurant, knowing the kind of steak that you get, and going the next time, it's not the same as it was the previous time. Next topics that I'm going to talk about, strategy positioning, as well as strategy choices in the marketplace, as well as implementation. Thank you for joining. Have a lovely evening.